Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to the Breslov Parshat Shir of Beshalach. Beshalach, as we all know, is when Paro sent the Jews out and they started to walk around the desert by Hashem's orders, but it looked like they were lost. And Paro said, well, we got to get them. They're lost. We're going to bring them back to slave servitude. And Paro chased after them. And Paro said, I'm going to bring them all back into slavery. And Paro did not know that Hashem has many means to save and help people. He defied Hashem. He was agnostic. So he ran after the Jews. Similar to today's Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran and Houthis and all the others that are gracing our planet these days. Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, we're going to save the Jews. The Jews complained. They had nowhere to run. Paro was running after them. They had a sea in front of them. Can't cross that. There was a huge mountain. Impassable cliffs on one side. There was a forest filled with wild animals on the other side. Behind them was inching, maybe feeding, maybe yarding, maybe coming up very quickly. Paro with all his horsemen and all his army to kill the Jews, to bring them into slavery. Where do you turn? Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, don't worry. Just wave your hands, which represents prayer. Pray. Moshe Rabbeinu prayed. And miracle of miracles, the sea split. The sea split? Sea? When did that ever happen? But it did then. The sea split, and the Jews, millions of people, 600,000 men strong, plus all the women and children, and their animals, whatever they had with them, everything went through the sea. They walked on the floor. The floor was not muddy like a regular sea is. It became hard, like marble. And the Jews walked through. And not only did they walk through, they rose out of the other side. And the Egyptians said, well, what the heck? They did it, we could do it too. And they ran after the Jews, they went into the sea. And Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, raise your hands, prayer. Pray again. Don't ever stop praying. And the sea closed down on top of the Egyptians. They're gone forever. Now this is the story of the Jewish nation. Parsha goes further. The Jews started walking in the desert and they had no water. They asked for water. They got water in the middle of nowhere. Right? Water to drink. They had no food. They ran out of food. How much could they carry from Egypt? Hashem said, okay, I'm going to supply you with food every day. Morning and the evening. You're going to get your daily fill. And the manna came down. At the end of the Parsha, you have again the Jews were thirsty. Moshe Rabbeinu hit the stone, the water came out. Then you have the battle of Amalek, where the Jews were victorious. Well, let's go over the Parsha and see how it applies to us. We all are in slavery. We're all in debt. After all, don't we help out our parents as youngsters? You have to take out the garbage. You have to clean your room. Whatever. There's a certain amount of servitude that we grow up with. And fact is, we have to be thankful for that servitude. We have to be thankful for the servitude in Egypt because that's what forged us into a nation. Terrible times that passed over us made us into a nation that could survive some of the worst indulgences of the nations against us, some of the worst atrocities, some of the worst barbaric deeds that they do. But we're a nation that survived it all. And that's what happened when we left Egypt. Should we think that, well, we're in trouble? We have impassable cliffs. We have wild animals after us. We have a sea. How are we going to cross the sea? Right? Know that Hashem could do it, and He does it for every single person. The Gemara in Pesachim says that the livelihood of a person is as difficult as splitting the Red Sea. Now, could you split the sea? No. Could you really make your livelihood? No. You may think you can, but you really can't. Hashem is the one who gives you the idea to go into this business, to make this investment. That's Hashem's doing. That's Hashem splitting the sea for you. And of course, Hashem provides each and every individual, some more, some less, but He provides. There are people, Nebuch, who are suffering in poverty. That's what Hashem knows is best for the person. Difficult times, difficult moments, but we're tough enough to survive that. Hashem has helped us survive all these years. Splitting the Red Sea, getting water to drink, getting manna. Is that what we have? Yes. Every day. Every day we go through it. If you believe that Hashem provides, you're going to see miracles upon miracles in your livelihood. How Hashem provided you from left field. Maybe He provided you from right field. Maybe it was a shortstop, but Hashem provided for you. That's the greatness of the splitting of the Red Sea. Testing our faith. Can it be done? Can I get through this crisis? Can I overcome this challenge? Can I beat my frustrations? The answer is yes. How? With faith. I believe in Hashem. I believe He's all-powerful. I believe He could help us survive. Not everyone survives. There's a master plan. We don't know the master plan. Right? There's a blueprint, the Torah, but not everybody could read the blueprint either. But the signs are all there of our salvation. They're coming to us every day. Every day we survive the onslaught of the Arabs, the onslaught of our enemies. It happens every day. And you know what? We're still here. There are hundreds of millions. There's maybe 1 billion Muslims on the planet. How is it that we, 8 million, 10 million people, survive against these hordes of maniacs, of barbaric animals? How? Because God is providing manna. God is splitting the sea. God is giving us the miracles. We just have to open our eyes. Open our eyes and see. I know people, for example, it's 20 years, they took out a mortgage to buy a house. And for the past 20 years, they're fretting every month, how am I going to make this month's mortgage payment? It's amazing. 20 years they're fretting, but 20 years they're making the payments, right? So what are you worried about? He's a God who provides. You just have to learn to turn to him. That's what the Jews did at the Red Sea. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu did. That's what he did when the Jews ran out of water. That's what he did when the Jews ran out of food. Manna came down from heaven. And that's what he did when he had to draw water from a rock. And that's what he did when Amalek came to battle. The end of the Parsha is Amalek's battle. Amalek represents the worst immorality. Amalek represents the worst blemishes that you could think of. And yet, we overcame. And that's what happens with us every generation. And today, we are able to witness the beauty and the wonders and the miracles of Hashem, that we're still here despite all the opposition to us. Take a look. Would you ever have imagined all those demonstrations, pro-Palestinian demonstrations in the States? Thousands upon thousands of people closing down bridges, tunnels, airports. All over the country, there are millions of people who want to get rid of the Jews, and we're still here. What we have to do is learn to turn to Hashem. And with that, we will fulfill the Parsha of Beshalach. May Hashem help us that we learn to overcome all the difficulties we face and to turn to Hashem and beseech Him, and we will then merit to see all the miracles of the final redemption and the building of the temple, the ingathering of the exiles. Amen. Good evening, and I hope you enjoyed the shir. And if you like the shir, please pass it on to others and let them all get interested in Breslov and Rabbi Nachman's teachings. We look forward to hearing from a lot more of you. All the best.